Hello and welcome to the Life is Storytelling podcast. Today is October 1st. Happy spooky season, everybody. I'm your host, Chris Pierce, joined by my co-host, Ernest Gonzalez. Ernest, how you doing, bud?
I'm awesome, man. I missed you. I
Aw.
feel like I haven't talked to you or seen you
It's
or
been a couple of
held you
days. Like, we haven't gamed in a few
for a long
days.
time.
Um,
Yeah, I
Silent
think
Hill.
that's what it is. Like we even before we had our multiplayer game
Right.
Borderlands, we were on multiplayer games.
Yeah.
Like we were on Overwatch or Apex or whatever it
Yeah,
was.
yeah, yeah.
Grounded. We played Grounded right
Dude.
before that too. We just bridged a small gap. And
Yeah.
then like we haven't spent that time in the party, so it's weird.
That, and then on top of that, Silent Hill F, which things kind of went into the Bizarro verse where Chris was the one who had things to do. And then everyone else is like, we don't. And everybody else beat Silent Hill F. And I appreciate nobody asking to game because I was literally going to be like, I don't want to hear about y'all saying shit in the fucking in the
I knew that it was
game.
a thing. I knew that it was a thing, and I was texting Justin on the side once he finished,
Yeah, he told me.
which I was a little surprised because I just didn't know he was on it. I just figured he had stuff to do, but he
Nope,
was
he
on
did
that
not.
junk too.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So like, yeah, man,
And he had
yeah,
a day he
yeah.
called in. The day he beat it, he had called into work. And so he just played it all day. And there you go. And I was just like,
And
man,
then
salt in the wound.
because Silent Hill 2 for a while now, like that's the only non-samurai related thing that I've had in a
That's fair. That's
while.
fair. But it's still
So
Japanese this time around.
it's still Japanese though, but I'm good. I'm good with like all Japanese stuff,
Right, right,
pretty
right, right. And I
much.
will
So,
say, I don't think it said it at the top here. This is the Screencast. We are going to be talking about a TV show finishing off our way of the Samurai series, leading us into Ghost of Yote. We will be back tomorrow with a games cast going over Borderlands 4 and, as we were just talking about just now, Silent Hill F, going into everything there. Full spoilers on both, going into all of that. And also today, full spoilers as well, more respectably so. This came out in 2005. We're covering Samurai Champloo, the classic from Watanabe that was airing on Adult Swim way back in the day. I will say, Ernest, you've asked me multiple times, have you seen the ending? And I was like, I think I have, and I'm fairly certain. Granted, I'm going off like old memories here. The last thing I remember about the ending is that clip. I already said spoilers.
yeah, you did.
um,
You did. You can leave right now.
I
You can
can, you
still
can, you
leave and
absolutely
be
can,
safe.
because I'm going to say something that's the first that happens in the first
But
of the
it's
last three
20 years
episodes.
old
It
too.
is.
Like
It's very
watch it.
old.
Watch
It's
it
very old.
already. Just
We
watch it.
definitely recommend go watch it.
Right.
3, 2, 1. I gave you a countdown too. But the moment where the samurai that Jean gets paired with, and he like dies off screen. You see
Right.
Jin just fall into the water, and I was like, no way. There's no way that he's gonna come
He's
back.
defeated.
Right, right,
Yeah.
right. But I think that's the last thing I saw. I think I saw that and I never saw the last two. Because I had no idea what happened to
Wow.
Mugen. And I don't remember Fu actually ever meeting her father, who is, I already said spoilers, the man who smells of sunflowers. Um but yeah, that's the only thing I really remember. And I still liked it. I mean, obviously, but I will say when you watch the whole thing, because this is my first time going through my original way of watching it. I watched it week to week on Adult Swim. I can't
Mhm.
tell you like if there's a week I missed or something. Sometimes you have school events. Sometimes you got to take a trip to go visit family, stuff like that. I wasn't in
Right.
control. I was a teenager. But this time sat through, watched it. I literally finished the last two episodes today. I did plan it today. I originally was gonna watch all three, but I was like, let's watch one tomorrow. Oh, yesterday, and I was like, that way I'm off today. Start my day off. Watch these two, marinate in it. Go into this review. Um, 26 episode series again came to America in 2005. It is has a lot in common with Cowboy Bebop, and we're definitely going to get into that. But Ernest, let's open up with you, my man. I want to know your opening thoughts on Samurai Champloo. Obviously, where you came from as a fan before, how you're feeling now coming off of it, and give me a score.
Yeah, I really feel like where I came from as a fan before plays huge into my like perspective on it now,
That's fair.
because going into it, like when I first got a hold of this anime, whether it was on Toonami or I torrented it, or um, I
Allegedly, allegedly,
yeah, yeah, Pirate Bay, baby. Shout out to
allegedly
Pirate Bay.
pirate bay.
And and but either way, the first time that I like watched this, I was just like immediately all about it. Like this was all of my MySpace backgrounds and stuff, you know. And then that was just so easy to do, like so easy to fall into because this thing has some of the best art ever.
Yep.
And right there, like with that statement, it's just a continuation of that. Going into this, like I've always recommended this as one of my favorite anime ever. And it's crazy when I was a kid, my favorite anime, and what I've said up to this day, like I have a tie for my favorite, and it's between Bebop and Champloo.
Mhm.
And it's so tough for me to choose. And I can say after this watch, after recently watching Cowboy Bebop as well, like I still can't choose, man. They're so good. Like this is one of my favorite anime. I think it's so well made, but it just vibes with me so hard, bro. Like it's just especially for my teenage self, this was the perfect vibe. Like
Yeah.
for it to have the whole Japanese samurai aesthetic and then have that hip hop overlay
Mhm.
is just like for my teenage self, that was like everything that I cared about was hip hop in Japan
There you
and
go.
like samurais and stuff like this, you know?
Mhm.
So like this just immediately just sunk in for me just before the show was even over. I was like, yeah, this is my favorite thing of all time. And then getting to the end of that, and I just remember like, oh man, one of the first things I did in Japan, I went to a bar and they let me get the aux cord and I played the outro for this.
Oh, that's a
And
banger. Yeah, that's a banger.
and everybody the Japanese people were like, what is this dude doing right now? Why are you playing that song? And I was like, it's a good song. And they were like, yeah, but like, that's not the vibe in this bar right now. And I was like, you let me have this moment, Japanese man. And
He didn't know what he was saying to him, but it was
yeah,
okay. Not
no, I don't know. We were both drunk. So,
Mhm.
but no, man, I've always loved this. I've always loved this. And coming into this view of it, I really feel like I got the most from it than any other watch. I don't know what I was doing, but when I was younger, I'm still kind of bad with it, but you know, you get distracted and stuff
Yeah.
like that, you know, like especially the more immature mind. I think the last time that I watched this was somewhere in my 20s. I'm 36 now. So like this is my first watch in my 30s, and I really feel like I got the most from this watch, especially story wise. Like,
Mhm.
there's those things that I appreciated before in the beautiful animation. Of course, the soundtrack is just one of the best ever. Rest in
Mhm.
peace, Nujabes. Like, oh my God. And like, it, and then the story, like the characters, there's just so much to love about them. Like
Mhm.
even when they're doing stupid shit and pissing you off, like you still love them. And I say you, and I'm talking about me. And I just, I have such a good time with this. Watching it again, it has me so hype on samurai
Yeah.
stuff. Like if the Kurosawa and the Mike didn't do it, the Watanabe like really drove it home,
Yeah.
and I'm so excited for tonight, man.
Ghost of Yote
So excited.
tonight, folks. Tonight.
Yes, dude. Yes, tonight, baby.
Tonight,
So
bro. Tonight.
I it's a 10 out of 10. This
Oh,
thing, it and there's things about it. Let me do say there's things about it that aren't the best as far as anime go, because sometimes the pacing can be a little different with I want to say just Watanabe shows like in
yeah.
general, like
Yeah.
because Bebop has a lot of variety to it. There's a lot of like what feels like filler, but really it's just part of the journey,
Yeah.
right? And like not every part of the journey is just boom, 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 all action going crazy all the time. Sometimes there is those like comedic things. There's a eating contest, or there's
There's
like,
a
you know,
baseball game.
there's a baseball
There's a
game that
baseball
which
game.
is amazingly done.
Mhm.
But I there's just those parts that slow down a lot. So like pacing wise, I feel like there are times where it's like, okay, like I'm ready for something to happen too. You
Right.
know, like I'm having a good time here, but I'm also ready for something to happen. But then something usually happens.
Yeah.
But in those times there are those lulls throughout it. And there are parts of the story that sometimes they're like, oh, by the way, these things conveniently fit together and we're just going to rush it in right there at the end, you know.
Mm.
But the results of those like quickened like shoehorns in this story, that they always turn out so good anyway.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm not gonna say it doesn't have its slight downfalls, but
But for you, it's a 10 out of
there's
10.
just too much to love, you
Right.
know. Yeah.
Now, back to reality. So,
And
um,
you are gonna be the more grounded view here 100%.
that's
Let's
fine.
let's just say that.
Very fair. Because I am actually a samurai. I'm Chris the Saw, a special agent.
The last
Uh,
one, he's the last samurai. Eat your
I,
heart out, Tom
dude,
Cruise.
Monzo the Saw. He had because he. I want to say he had the first shake weight because as he was waiting to go actually do his job, he's like, I have this special weapon that allows me to work out vigorously as I don't actually have to move. And he's just shaking the thing, man. Oh man. And then when you find out he's the narrator, oh, it's great. It's so good. I love the show. The show's very, very good. It is not a 10 out of 10 for me. I will say, up until like the last three episodes, I was between an 8 and 8.5, but landing at a solid 9 at the very end. And it's weird because it absolutely does follow a lot of the. You talk about variety with Bebop, and to be fair, you can do more when you're traveling through space because this is all set in Japan. Like
Right.
it would be weird to be like, oh, we're in a
Even when they
fairy
go
dust.
from one town to the next, it's
Right.
still a very similar setting.
Right.
Yeah.
But I mean, they
Yeah.
still I in terms of story, I think there's the same amount of variety that you get there. I mean, you have like a Frankenstein story within the first few episodes. Um, she didn't write about him in his diary. Like, oh my God, what are you doing? I thought y'all had a whole moment. But to be fair, she did end up saying it was a joke diary. But she talked so emotionally about other people, and I was just like, you didn't talk about Big Boy here. Regardless, I think it's a fantastic show, and by far, I think the overall thing to take away from this, the journey is the destination. It's not about where you go in the end. I was looking up because I was like, this is dating myself. This is dating us. So, like when this came out, like AOL Instant Messenger was like the highest thing. Like this is how you talk to people online and stuff like that. There was no like the show of the week was trending on Twitter and stuff like that. The only other the closest version of that, which is like simpler times, you go to school, guys. Did you see the new episode of this?
Yeah.
Hell
Right.
yeah, dude, saw
Right.
that. And I will say, had less friends that watched Champloo than that watched Bebop.
Yeah.
Um,
My friends were not the best nerds at all.
and hey,
I was
hey,
all alone in that shit.
it happens. It
Yeah.
happens. But what I did when I finished today, as I was doing some stuff around the house, I looked up because I was like, because obviously this isn't topical. It's not a show that's like gotten a remake, gotten a re-release in 4K, anything like that. Do it. Um,
Right.
but
Oh,
I was looking up other people's. I was like, I like Googled, I think like thoughts on the ending of Samurai Champloo. I was like, what is the general? I have no idea how people feel about this. I feel like most people would find it somewhat disappointing if you're taking it at face value. And it's at least looking at like the first 20 videos that come up on YouTube, a lot of people are pretty sour on it.
yeah.
But there's people with taste that are actually because the thing is, and it's funny, you can compare this to Seinfeld. So
Wow.
it's a
Okay.
show about nothing until it's not. You do kind of erupt at the end where the cast of characters have had some wrongdoings, done some things throughout the series that they kind of have to answer for at the end.
Mhm.
And you're absolutely right. They do kind of just shoehorn things in there. And like the big thing for me when you compare this to Cowboy Bebop, there's a number of things. But one big driving force that I think really helps because they have the same type of structure because it's a lot of just random adventures. until
Right.
it's like a few things that are targeted towards people. Because we do have Faye discovering her past and like coming to terms with the fact that she's not actually from the time period we're in. She was Winter Soldier, not Winter Soldier. She was Captain American. She was frozen on a block of ice for the most part, leading her into this and trying to remember who she was.
Yeah.
Jet having to come to terms with like, oh, dude, your best friend like sold you out. That's how you lost your arm. And then Spike, that's the whole show.
Right. Yeah.
That
Yeah.
and that's the important thing. Samurai Champloo does not have a vicious, does not have the Red Syndicate or the Red Dragon Syndicate to kind of like, okay, we veered off into the ether. Let's pull you back in to show you a little bit of more meat on this narrative bone. Which does, of course, come to a conclusion with that and everything. There's no, we get the shogunate who has apparently been targeting Fu's father for a very
Mhm.
long time. Um, and we don't get a hint that she's being followed by the shogunate trying to find this man until those final three episodes. And to be fair,
Yeah.
I think again with the show being so focused on the journey is the destination, it's not about how it ends, because there's so much about fate, there's so much about how like these people, like there's so much that happens to all three of these characters that are just out of nowhere.
Yeah.
um and for the most part, as you're going through it, you think them being together is part of that. You think that is also just fate. And you can still say it kind of is, but when Fu makes the statement at the very end, being like, you know that coin toss that I flipped? And I was like, heads is I don't remember which one it was. I think heads is y'all fight, tails, you come with me.
Right.
She's like, I lied. And instead of getting mad, it's probably the most like even head, like even keeled they've been about anything she reveals to them. They're like, oh man, I don't even remember why we went on this journey in the first place. And it's like, so long, see you later. And it's just a very peaceful, amicable splitting into three ways. Like, thank God we found this road that has three bridging paths, or else what are we gonna do with more or less? Um, but I think again, that is all just part of because when you see that I I didn't fully feel anything like to like elevate it to a nine until the closing
Mhm.
credits. We get a new song, which sometimes it's risky. It's risky. It
Yeah.
can be a good song.
Yeah.
It's still risky. Um, like Dan to
Especially
Dan's
with
in,
a banger like you have
right,
with this outro.
right.
Yeah.
A current example of this would be switching off that original Dan to Dan intro. Because
Right.
again, that one's a banger. And this new
Right.
song is also a banger, but it takes a couple of weeks for you to be like, okay,
Right.
okay, you can come in the
Yeah.
house. Okay, we're fine. We're cool. Like Justin's just started like the last batch of episodes, and I just heard it. I just heard him playing it. I was like, yes. And it's not one of my favorite things right now. But that final song that plays is so good. And the way that you just see all three characters going on, it's also
Just
ridiculous that Mugen survived that, but it's okay.
yeah.
It's
Yeah.
okay. Because we got to have a happy ending for one of these. And Mugen's going off on his journey. Jean's going on his. Fu's kind of going on hers. There's some speculation you can have there about where they're going. There is some stuff to insinuate that Jin might be tracking down that girl he had feelings for. When you
Mhm.
see the part where Mugen's walking, there's a point in the closing credits where there's a set of legs that stop for a moment, as if somebody's like stopping to see him for a minute, and then they walk slowly by him. And there's a girl who also says, I plan to marry that man with Mugen."
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So like
Yeah.
you can interpret that as like maybe they did cross paths at some point as well. And then Fu, not so much because in terms of like, to be fair, she's the youngest. She is
And
the
because
youngest.
like the story is like hers pretty
It
much,
is.
you know, like
It is.
she got her big
She did.
thing, her big ending and stuff like that. So, I mean, yeah, where she goes from here, like that's she probably has the most open doors, the most
For sure.
opportunity, right?
Because
Yeah.
also she has the most time. She's the youngest. So
Right.
like there's a lot of room to think there, as opposed to like, is Spike getting up off the steps? Probably
Right.
not.
Yeah.
But it hits. It hits so hard. It hits so impressively well that like though yes, it's not the saddest ending, and yeah, I usually resonate towards those. I'm picking Bebop here over the but also the openness of this series where it chooses to bring things together at the end, though it's not the smoothest thing, it I think it still works.
Mhm.
um Again, it's a bit questionable about how like Jin, I've taught you this move. You can only use it because it's guaranteed to kill you. I survived that. Mugen, you've been stabbed. You've been obliterated by this one guy. You got
You got
shot through the
shot.
stomach, and
You
then you
got
got
blown
blown
up.
up. You got visited by the spirits of those trying to take you to the other life. But Fu was like, Mugen, don't die. And he came back.
You know what? You're right.
It's like, okay, sure. I could have used a little narrative like, oh, maybe this is why or whatnot. But at the same time, you do have the benefit with this series of just saying fate. It's a lot of the same thing as like there's so many things you can try to criticize. You can't outright do it, but there are a lot of things people try to criticize the Scream franchise for that Scream gets to get away with it by being like, oh, that was the point of what they were doing the whole time. That's that
Yeah.
being satire of something that didn't work for somebody. There's so much about fate. There's so much about like just life, living in general. Appreciate the moment. Because the thing about that finale is it's not supposed to be the best part. You're gonna think about it, sure, because you're growing with these characters for so long on this journey. They don't end up liking each other until like the like well beyond the back half of this show.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah. Yeah. I have marked down the first time that one of them goes to save the other just because, like, oh no, they're in danger.
Right.
And it's like, it's well into it. It's a good couple
So far.
episodes before.
So far in.
Yeah. Most of the time they want to kill each other, you know?
100%.
So,
Which is literally a
um,
promise made. So, like, yeah.
but like on the fate topic though, there's so many things that like really lean over in that direction towards it being fate that them three spend time together and live and
Yep.
complete this mission and stuff like that. Like there's so many different times. There's probably two or three times before we reach the end that they all go on their own separate paths.
Yep.
And like it happens very much like it does at the end where like they literally are walking down three
Yep.
separate paths, like heading
Yep.
in
Yep.
different directions to go do whatever. Like you go do your thing, I'm gonna be over here. Who knows if I'll ever see you again. They didn't have cell phones back then,
It
bro.
didn't.
If you
Or
lost
email.
somebody, they were just gone. If you
Yeah.
lost somebody, they were just gone. Like those girls that were like, yeah, I'll see them later, I'll marry them. Like good fucking luck. There wasn't even telephones, dude. That's
Yeah.
crazy. That's
Yeah.
crazy. You
But she
just had to
believed in it.
run in,
She
just had to
believed.
run into somebody. Fate was the only way you kept friends back then. So, but no, but honestly, like there's so many times that you have that picture of them walking away from each other in three different directions, and then happenstance just
Back together.
drives them back together.
Right.
Like there's the episode where they join kind of like rival mafias, right?
Yep.
And they have that gambling ring like underneath that restaurant and
And then
stuff.
Fu ends up being the one who's like rolling the dice for them and stuff
And
like that.
Fu ends up being the one that's rolling the dice, and both of them are sitting on opposite sides, and all three of them end up back together, getting out of there together, things like that, and continuing their journey. So
Yep.
like it happens over and over again, and you can say it's like repetitive, but I really feel like it does a good job of just driving it more home each time that it hits. Like it's really like nail board, like that shit is all the way in there. You know
Right.
what I mean? It's all the way
They're
driven
tied. They're
home.
tethered. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, man, absolutely. So like, and yeah, I love it, especially because there is that dislike for each other at the beginning.
Mhm.
Like it lends itself to a lot of comedy, but it also lends itself to like a lot of drama and stuff like that. I also there's just so many things I love about their like relationships and stuff. But before I
Yep.
get into that, did you give us a score?
I did. Oh yeah, I did. I said not. So I said I was 8.5, rating
Oh,
eight
it
point
moved
five
up
throughout
to a
most of the show.
9.
And when I got
That's
to the
right.
very end, sitting with it, it's a 9. It's a 9
With
for
the
me.
end specifically, I was on the other side of it for a very long time because again, I saw this when I was very young as a
Mhm.
teenager. I was like, "What? They just go their separate ways? Like what the hell?" And
Mhm.
then in like, in my 20s, it was like peak testosterone levels, and I was like, what? They just walk away from each other. I was way more hype in my 20s. And then
Kill each other, I want blood.
and now, like you said, it is just very much like, no,
It's
it
another day.
makes sense because we talked about it when we talked about Bebop at some point on this show. We talked about Bebop,
We don't
and
have a full review of it, but yeah, we've talked about
but that there was one episode where it came up a lot or
it.
something. I don't know,
Mm.
but we talked about how it's not so much that these people were always going to be together anyway. Like, this is a story of a group of people while they happen to be in the same spot at the same time. And for that
So
story to end
mm,
when people split up is okay, you
that's
know?
just a conversation you and me had without the podcast.
Are you sure?
Yeah, because so that happened after
We
I
should
did a
have
rewatch
recorded
of
that.
Bebop. Because I was rewatching Bebop because Jerry had accepted my challenge. It never happened of us having
Mm-hmm.
an Outlaw Star and Cowboy Bebop debate. And
Because he said Outlaw Star is better.
he still does. He's ridiculous.
And I
I
love
love Outlaw
Outlaw
Star. Right.
Star,
No one's actually
but
hating on Gene Starwin and all that.
right, I love me some Gene Starwind, bro. They
Um,
also have bangers in that show
oh,
too.
dude. Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
but
But Bebop, bro. Come
nah,
on
come
now.
on.
Come on
Come on
now.
now.
Come on now. Watanabe, baby. Um, but yeah, but you're absolutely right. And it like that is the big difference between and he did it again most recently with Lazarus. He likes to put like reluctant groups together. It's not like exactly like a group of misfits, but it kind of is.
Right, right.
Granted, like dude, Mugen's Spike. He's a bit more unhinged, sure.
Right, right,
But
right.
that could just come from like with it being so early on in like the existence of the world, there was less restricting him. He was allowed to go around and kill people. I would not say Jet is necessarily just a reflection of Jin or anything like that, though there are some similarities there. They're the cooler heads that prevail, and
I
who's
think
nothing
that
like that.
Jin is more made to be the exact opposite of Mugen or
100%.
Spike. You know what I
Oh yeah,
mean?
100%.
Like,
Yeah,
instead of being Jet, he's more like Nega Mugen,
right. And he is.
you
He
know?
absolutely is.
Yeah.
But I love the moments because like there is I forget because there's a lot of women that come through here and like stuff the
Right.
shenanigans happen. But there's one point where oh it's the episode where we have the woman who ends up being an assassin. This is again towards the end.
Yes,
And
yes. I
there's a
love her. The
bathhouse scene.
blind musician.
Yeah, the blind musician.
Right, right.
There's a moment in the bathhouse where, I mean, she's blind, like she doesn't care. But Mugen was in there, and then Fu's like, "You get out of here!" And he's like, "Stop acting like you have anything to hide." And he just comes back and looks like right at her, "Cause you don't." And then he goes to tell Jin what happened, and Jin just only react. The only thing he says is, "Did you see him?" And like there's not a ton of him making jokes like that, but when it happens, dude, it kills me. It's so good.
And
Uh
because Mugen right after that is just clueless and like, see what?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's fucking stupid.
It's
Oh,
hilarious.
dude.
It's hilarious.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
But yeah,
I love
Mugen's like the
I love when
raging
Jin gets a little loose with it.
dude,
Anytime he
yeah.
gets a
And I
little
think that's
loose with
a
it.
good example of like him. He's the one who most verbally, ironically, actually, is the most verbally tells you what he gets out of the ending of this series. He literally says, up until this moment, I've only fought for myself. I've been
Yeah.
alone for so long, having lost his parents at a young age, being put in a situation to kill his master, and then just traveling from town to town. And now he literally says the words, which you can kind of say a little bit of cliche, but like I don't know if it was at the time. Again, early
But it's
2000s.
valid though.
It is valid. No, it's
So
100%
like
valid.
sometimes the
Where he says,
cliche
"You're my
things
first
are
friends,"
valid.
for sure,
Yeah.
for sure. But he says that they were my first friends, and and I am fighting for them. And he literally uses the move. Um, again, we know he survives. That would guarantee his death against the samurai. Him and Mugen couldn't beat together. Um, Man, it's just if you think about
Oh,
that too much, it gets a little ridiculous. But it's the emotion and like the poignancy of it is all there. I don't think any of that is up for debate. I think you can, whether you like are there for it or not. I think as a younger person, I probably would have been more disappointed in the ending of this, because like again, and I'm gonna do this
because I
quick.
wanted them to stick together,
Oh,
you
that
know?
too. I just wanted
Like
more. I wanted people with
I
fights.
didn't, even though the show was ending, like I understood like okay, this story is over. Like I felt like why the hell would they not keep hanging out,
So
you
here's
know?
the thing.
But like I think now in my adult life I understand like sometimes we got to go take care of our shit, you
Right.
know? Like it's that makes sense.
So you said the first time you saw this was in your 20s. Is that right?
No, teens.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
teens, 20s, maybe once or twice, and then
Okay.
now. Yeah.
Oh, because yeah, I was gonna say, and this is another big factor for me, and I'm so curious. Obviously, we lived like this for so long. There's for the most part, unless like an ad plays and it tells you, there's gonna be points when you finish a show and you don't know what's the ending. Because now you
Yeah,
hear like, oh, it's been renewed for this many episodes. Oh,
right.
like the episode will have final in the title, like the description when you're putting it up on your streaming service, stuff
Or
like
they'll
that.
be like the final season
Right, right,
or
right,
whatever. Yeah,
right.
yeah.
But like, yeah, no, it's not always a thing because I keep now that I've seen the ending of it, I'm like, what happened, Chris? What did you do? And to be fair, like it was never like my favorite thing, but I really liked it. I did really like it as a kid. And like I've always wanted to rewatch it. I mean, I own it. I own this and Bebop.
Ah, man,
Um, and it's yeah,
flexing.
yeah, bro. Hey, man, physical media matters. Especially if they're going to ramp up those subscriptions that you're streaming your stuff through. Um, but yeah, no, it is a very special series. Watanabe is dude, he's an artist. I'm really curious because I will say when they announced the Watanabe mode for Ghost of Yotei, the one track they did play, I was like, he can do better. But like it's one track from whatever that mode is, and I'm like, okay, let's see. And there's this part
And
of my
it's like 5 seconds of it too.
right, because they immediately went on to the other. Well, it was the last mode they showed, but yeah. And I specifically like when I look at reviews for anything that's just come out. Like if I know I'm going to get into it, I stay loose with it. Like I will just look at the score. I'll read the blurb that like IGN puts up underneath it and stuff like that. I know nothing of the reaction to these modes. I imagine Kurosawa is just the same thing. It's just black and white, which is cool. It's cool. I'm not. I don't mean to downplay that. Mike, I'm very interested in,
Oh,
and
and
then
it's I think it automatically puts it in Japanese, but that
oh,
could
maybe
not
so.
be true.
I think you might be
Yeah.
right. Um, but yeah, and then I'm just really curious what these tunes are going to be because they are curated by the mastermind himself, the genius that is Watanabe. And I say
Right.
that knowing because this is my so I've seen Samurai Champloo, I've seen Space Dandy, I've seen Cowboy Bebop, I've seen the first season of oh my God, it's Carol and something. It's a music anime. Two girls that make music. It's on Netflix. I just haven't watched the second season. I have not seen Terror and Resonance. And then most recently, Lazarus, we have finished.
Lazarus.
And that one I feel like is a bit closer to like you get that group of outlaw adjacent people. I guess these are actually outlaws in Lazarus,
Yeah. Yeah.
because they're like trying to suicide squad it. Like you have something that's gonna hurt you, you're gonna be able to get out and whatnot.
Oh,
Um,
okay, got you. Got you.
but like the dude knows what he's good at. I wasn't a huge fan of Lazarus, but there's still plenty of good there, and like the
I liked it.
Watanabe isms took me a second to
Mhm.
say it are always great, and I love that. But yeah, dude, this is if you hear somebody say they don't like the ending of Samurai Champloo, maybe give it a few years because I will say as a young person maybe it's not going to be for you.
Yeah.
I do think, and to be fair, this is the problem when you live in a place that everyone's pushing that animation is for children. It's not. That goes like 100 times over for anime. Add in another five to make it 105 for Watanabe because he doesn't make a single thing for kids. But
Oh, nah, yeah.
yeah,
Nah.
yeah, yeah.
I
But this
showed
is a
me
classic.
and Jace started this in the summer,
Yeah.
and like the second or third episode, Fu gets like taken into a prostitution
Oh
ring.
yeah. Yeah. It happens.
And I was like, she gets out, don't worry. Like, like So nah, he doesn't make anything for kids, but you're
Yeah.
right.
But it's just, I was building that up to say, this is a classic. This is a classic for a reason, not just because it played on that loop way back in our childhoods. Like, it's not like it doesn't touch Bebop for me. It's close. I will say it is close. Granted, Bebop's my favorite. The Bebop's a 10 out of 10 for me. I do think that even for what flaws you might see in there, they're there for a reason. I think it's effortless. Um, because I like, yeah, like I said, I watched that, like, it's been like it was like 3 or 4 years ago. Because god damn, Gina was really like, it's not as good. I was like, come on, all right, let's go. I don't remember why it didn't happen, uh, but I was getting heated. But Samurai Champloo is probably, at least because again, I have not seen a single bit of Terror in Resonance. Um, from the works I have seen of his, it is the closest thing that he's made that's similar to Bebop. Like, it is a smaller group, but like, and it doesn't help that Mugen's. I watched the dub again. This is granted. This is only
Yeah,
my second time watching it, but I watched the dub originally because that's how it was aired, of course, and then I did do dub this time. But wild choice for to have
that
Steve
is
Blum,
the same voice actor.
and
Yeah,
like the
yeah,
fact that
yeah.
it's not just the same voice actor, it works so well. Because like, it would be
Oh
so
yeah,
weird to hear like somebody that's like more like Jet, and that's like doing the same exact voice that Steve Bloom does for Spike and Mugen. That'd be odd.
voice just being over Jin.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
would
that'd be weird. That'd be weird. But yeah, man, it's a classic, and you should absolutely go watch it. We both love it. Ernest is obviously a bit more high on it than me. Like, the samurai stuff has never necessarily been like my go-to thing.
that's my shit.
I don't know.
Bitch.
And then along with that, like, just because they're literally space samurai, Jedi's haven't either. It's just like, the whole code of both of them. I'm just like, y'all are lame.
No, no, it's stupid. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like the loyalty
It's not
part.
actually
I'm not
stupid.
saying that loyalty is stupid. You should
Uh,
be loyal to some things, but
yeah,
to be
but not the lord
blindly
of your
loyal
country,
is always terrible.
right?
To be blindly loyal is
Which
always
we went
terrible.
over in our review for 13 Assassins. So go check that out.
And I also said that that's why the majority of samurai stories that I like are actually more about Ronin, like
Mm. To
the
be fair,
samurais that are
we
not
have Ronin
abiding by the
here
code.
in 13. I'm sorry, not 13 Champloo. Samurai Champloo.
48, 47 Ronin.
47 Ronin Champloo.
How many Ronin is it
I don't know.
in that movie?
But granted, Gene is he's just trained like in the way of the sword. That doesn't make you 100% a samurai. You have to serve somebody.
Right. I
They're
mean, like
Ronin.
he was in the dojo and stuff, but he
Right.
wasn't sworn to the shogun.
Right. Yeah,
So
yeah. He was him, and Mugen's just a dude with a blade. 100%.
yeah, man. Yeah. Like it's when he's like sailing to the island to
Yeah.
fight in the church, to save Fu,
Mhm.
where um the dude says like, "Oh yeah, I want to see you fight with your Ryuko island style sword
Yeah,
style
yeah,
or
yeah.
whatever." Like he calls it that, and I was like, "Oh, it's not just him doing random shit.
Right,
Like I
right,
okay, it's a whole style, baby." Um but I've always been I became more partial to Mugen once I was in the Navy and like living in Okinawa for
right.
3 years, and just like the thought of him being such a badass coming from the islands down there,
Yeah.
like was I was like, oh, like he's even doper than I thought, bro. Like, because of course I always wanted to go to Japan, and this was a very big reason why. Like, so it's kind of Watanabe's fault that I joined the Navy, man. What the hell? I didn't enjoy it. um no, but once I got over there, like one of my first things was like I should probably watch Samurai Champloo again.
Mm, mm, mm.
And then I just get to like go outside and just like look at it,
Yep,
like
yep,
it's
yep, yep.
right there. Like I was just seeing this stuff on my screen, dude. And and
I'd
but
imagine
no,
there's
no,
more
that
actual
always made him
buildings,
a
but
little bit
yeah.
cooler.
But yeah.
Um and there was a little bit that I had forgot about. I forgot a little bit about everything,
Mm.
like
They use
Mugen's
swords.
backstory I did not have down packed at
Mm.
all. Now now I think it would be more difficult for me to forget. I feel like I paid better attention this time or something.
I mean, you're
But
older and you were
that I
watching it
guess
to
that's the
talk about
thing.
it.
That's
So
the
yeah,
thing. We've
that's 100%
also
different.
like I'm probably conditioned more to like this type of stuff now. Like with the types of movies that we've watched and the different type of genres and
Mm,
stuff. There's some things that are like slower, that way slower than Samurai Champloo, that are
mm.
like harder to pay attention to, that I've sat through and
Hey,
paid all the attention to. So
yeah,
that might have something to do with it. But Mugen's backstory though, um, with the other dude from the island, like
yeah,
his childhood kind of friend, like halfway nemesis, frenemy, if you will.
we call them Ernest's,
Um,
but yeah,
and them going on that that heist together on that boat,
yep,
and him just leaving him, and then him doing the same exact thing
exact
to
thing.
him again.
Yeah, and
Dude.
it's just like Mugen. What did you think was gonna happen, man?
Like, yeah, man, fool me once, all that stuff.
He got blown up
But
there too. Fun fact. But yeah,
yeah, he gets blown up.
you
He
got to
be getting
behead him.
blown up.
He's the Highlander.
Speaking of which, a zombie episode that I just completely forgot existed.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
how do you forget that that exists? That's so out of left field.
yeah. 100%
It's so
is.
random. Right at the end,
Yep,
like,
right there.
man, did not see that
Is
coming.
that
The
in the
whole
baseball
wasabi
episodes
thing,
were the last? Yeah, like the last like
the
filler
the
stuff.
family tree thing not being
Yep.
connected is
He's
just
like,
like, oh man. Oh, dude, and then the baseball episode is I love that the Americans are just these evil
yep,
motherfuckers that just want to
yep, yep, yep.
like just want to murder the other team. I love that the old man dies at the beginning.
Oh my God,
Like
he's like, just remember
just like
me.
walking up to the plate, he just like dies on the way
And
there.
then they carry on the
And the
joke as like if
bell,
everybody sing like Jin even like the people just kept dying. Like it just and then obviously when you get to the end of that baseball game, it's not about the score. It's just like
no.
a just
This
Mugen
is
happens to
who's
get
left
back up.
standing.
Yeah,
Yeah. Fucking Mugen just starts beating him.
yep, yep, yep.
Oh man, that's amazing. It's
That was great.
amazing. And then
Like
he's like spinning around on the ground, like
he's doing a
pitching, and he's
spinneroonie,
just
bro.
like tossing them
Yeah.
over the fence. He's like, oh, okay, I guess I'll throw it regular. Oh
Is it
man.
what it was like ball one, two, three, four. But yeah, the
Did you
comedy
have a
here.
favorite bit at all? Because there's a
What do you mean?
few like recurring things.
Oh, it's Monzo. I would call him my favorite bit in total. Like
Yeah.
his whole character's a bit. He really only shows his face twice, like which is like that first episode where he's investigating the disappearances of the women, and he's ridiculous. And, and then when you get to be fair, he actually finds out because the moment Monzo shows up, that's when we learn that the guy who's playing Jin in the I don't remember if they were playing shogi or whatever. But that's when we're like,
Right.
oh, he's the ringleader. He's the one
Right,
being
right,
taken
right.
away. But then he shows up again for the baseball game, which again I was not ready. I was like, oh my God, he died. But no, he was
um
hilarious. And then I
yeah,
guess
he
you could
died in
call
that game
Momo a
too.
bit
Damn.
because I love
RIP.
Momo. But yeah.
But I love when food eats a lot.
Oh, when they
That's
just
my
animated her to be
favorite
heavy,
thing, dude.
and like literally, because it's one thing to be like, oh, she looks heavy. It's just them showing us that she ate a lot. But literally, whenever the last time it happened was like there were guards looking for, oh, we're looking for
She's
this
like running
really
through the
heavy set
town.
woman. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like when she
Have you
loses
seen
the fat.
a woman about your age, just a
Yeah.
lot bigger?
Right, right, right. Like your height,
Yeah.
everything, but just a lot bigger. And like, dude, literally, when she was walking around after she had eaten, like when she was still heavy, like the ground shook. Like,
It was like stomping,
yeah,
and
yeah,
I
yeah.
I love her that her voice gets so deep,
Yep,
dude.
yep, 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 yep.
And then
It's
again,
great.
I watched this in Japanese for the first time.
Mm.
Like, so I've only watched it in English. I watched it in Japanese for the first time, and the Japanese voice actress just really sells it. Just, oh, where are we gonna go, guys?
So when you got the
It's amazing.
foreigners, did they try to speak English or no?
So, like the Americans in the baseball game,
Yeah,
a lot of it was them speaking English,
yeah. Okay. But
and
was it still? But it was a
um,
Japanese person saying it.
but it's a Japanese person
Okay,
saying it, and you
making sure.
know how that
I
goes. You
do. We're
know
not
how
gonna
that
do that
goes.
here, but yes, I got that.
But I'm trying to think.
But then what
Oh,
about
it's
the guy with the clogs?
I was thinking I think I know what you're talking about.
The one who
I was
tells
thinking
her,
of.
the one from the food eating competition.
Oh, right, right, right,
Because
right.
he
Okay.
ends up being an important person from what is it? It's not Finland. It's something like that.
Yeah,
Might be
like
Iceland.
Denmark
Oh, you might
or
be right.
like
You might be right.
something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
one of those countries
But
around
literally,
there.
like
One of
his,
those
like all of his fellow
Viking
countrymen are just
places.
wearing those big ass clog shoes.
Oh, he's the one in the eating contest.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. But I was thinking of Uma Masame. That's what I was thinking of.
What?
They have
Oh, that one horse. The one horse
yeah,
girl.
they have the one American horse that's voiced by a Japanese woman, and it's
Right.
hilarious. It's
Yeah.
because they didn't get like a fluently speaking woman to do it.
Yeah.
But she speaks better English than I speak Japanese, so I can't talk shit.
I mean, there you
But
go.
but yeah, man. So they had the Americans just like yeah, doing their best.
Yeah, and like I love that stuff because it's a whole bit in JoJo's because I don't watch JoJo's dubbed so I don't know how that stuff portrays itself when it comes to it.
Mm,
But there's literally a whole character in JoJo's who are his whole thing because he's the American one. Because JoJo's, it's different lineages and all this stuff. But he will speak Japanese. He knows Japanese. But in
right.
moments of like him being in extreme duress, he goes, "Oh my god!" or like, "Oh shit!" and it's just really funny.
No, yeah, yeah. And there's a lot of that here as
Mm-mm.
well. But
Good, good, good.
man, yeah, I love how just like evil they made the United States. Like I love that
I mean,
right now.
fair, especially at
It's
that
just
time. But
it's
the other
very
thing,
rarely not appropriate.
but going
So
into because
yeah,
like you don't think about it because when you leave these shows, talking about Bebop, talking about Samurai Champloo, you don't think about the comedy first. You do think about how that last episode hits you. Um, you love if you've watched all 26 episodes of Samurai Champloo, you're probably left with like a bit of like a feeling about them separating. But like
right,
watching that and then like it's similar to that with Bebop. Unfortunately, you know there's no reunion there because
right, right, right.
probably not. Maybe between Faye and
He
Jet. I would love to think so. But yeah, Spike will not be there. And then when you go to something like Space Dandy, I know you haven't seen it, but it's another trio. It's a robot, an alien, and a human Space Dandy. That will also leave you pretty emotional in the ending. But it's just Watanabe knows how to leave you wanting more. He knows like whether obviously when you're watching Bebop, you're like, oh Spike, get up, but please, please get up. The
no,
last
yeah, he
the
did.
yeah, 100%. 100%.
100%.
But the whole bang.
Yeah.
And then but when you get to Samurai Champloo, I you hit the nail on the head a minute ago because yeah, they separate. And good chance like I put money on it. We're never going to get the confirmation. If they do come back together, which I hope they do. I do hope there's some kind of reunion at some point. I bet it's
And
a
because
longer
fate
duration
brought them
before that happens.
together so many
Right.
times before,
But I'm
right?
just
So
saying, I
like
bet it's
why
a
wouldn't he?
longer duration
Yeah.
as opposed and to make it more significant because Mugen
Yeah.
even says the thing of like this is the first time I haven't felt like I want to go hunt somebody. I don't want like I'm with somebody I want that I know could be stronger or equal and I don't feel the need to kill you. Jin, he kind of had already had his moment before that talking about fighting for his friends, but literally being like I don't feel the need to kill you either. um and Fu's stupid. So like it's just I'm just kidding. But Fu,
You did say that she was annoying you a bit.
she was for a while. By the
Yeah.
end, no, she's great. I will also say
She's a
there's
sweetheart.
she's a sweetheart. But when you get to the end, she's the one who decides to tell the truth. Hey, I rigged the coin toss, or not even rigged. I just lied about it.
Right, yeah.
And then she is the first one to say she doesn't say goodbye. She doesn't have this heartfelt moment. She just turns away with the most confidence you've seen her with this whole show, saying, "See you later." And that I think is so important for the tone that you leave off on. Yes, it is
Yeah.
100% bittersweet because I would love if they just stayed together, dude. That would be
Right,
so
right.
great. But you do need to change some things up to show the because they all three of these people when they met each other they were incomplete.
Mhm.
They had a hole in their lives. They had some past traumas they were working with. Um, and as you learn about those, and that comes with some things kind of being forced, kind of being rushed. Like you don't know the that's her dad until like the last last
Right,
few
right.
episodes, really.
There's kind of like hints to it,
Yeah,
but
I guess.
like, yeah, there's no confirmation of it until very, very
Right.
late into it. Yeah.
And then like even Mugen's stuff, his is pretty open. Like you do get some direct thing, like you learn about his quote unquote friend, the little and
Right.
his friend's little sister. Love how that episode ended. She thought she was gonna
Oh,
eat that money,
dude.
bro.
Oh, dude, it's so good.
It's so good.
It's so
It's so
good.
good.
Like him walking up on them, like
Yep.
still all hurt and stuff, and the dude charging him and
And
hit.
it's just like no.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then
yeah.
he's walking towards her, and you can see like the fear in her eyes, and he
Yeah.
just like keeps walking.
And then
Like,
she
oh,
begs her. She falls and is like, "Please kill me." Like please. And like I feel for her and you should. You absolutely should. It's like it's not like she's been like plotting all of this for her whole life or anything.
right,
But
right.
like it is a part of our plot now that Mugen was brought back into the fold and everything, and it's just it's unfortunate.
Yeah,
It's a really unfortunate thing, and she has to live with what's happened. And at the
because she
same
had
time,
like valid reason to want to get out of
yeah,
that
her brother was
situation,
terrible.
100%.
Yeah, her
But
brother was terrible.
like, then she tried to like take it up a notch and like profit from it even more, you
Yep,
know?
yep. And
And
she played
that's where
all of
she
them.
started fucking over people.
Yep,
And like,
and like she
what
lost
can you
everybody.
do?
Right.
Get your boyfriend killed. That's what you
100%.
can do.
And like
Yeah.
Mugen justifiably doesn't take her life because I don't think like
Right.
you don't see the heartfelt moment. Like the only time you see them really like kind of get there is in a flashback, of course, when they like
Hmm,
first
hmm.
know each other. She talks about wanting to be free, stuff like that. Um, and to be fair, she is free. It's just it does make me laugh that just like the last thing her boyfriend said to her was like, "Here, I'll show you where I hid the money."
I'll tell you where the treasure is a little later.
Yeah. And it's like, nope, no, you won't. And Mugen doesn't care about it. No one's going to look for it. And yeah, so you don't have your money, but you are free. To be quite fair, her brother's gone. Not going to be a thing. So, I mean, I wish her the best, of course. But talking about these women on the side, again, we kind of hinted at them earlier. The two prominent ones, uh, there was a woman that Jin fell in love with that we had a like were they both two parters? I don't remember if they were both two parters.
The pod that one might have been a two-parter.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember. Regardless,
I'm trying to
important.
look now.
But Jin helping her to go get away from her horrible husband because that like dude her husband had no redeemable qualities. He was just absolute trash, just like, hey, I'm selling you to pay off my debts, and every time I see you, I'm gonna hit you. Like he was just a terrible guy. And it's just like, okay. But then on the other side of things, a very different situation. The woman that ends up falling for Mugen, which is
Mhm.
hilarious that it's just constantly, oh, I'll let you do to me if you
Yeah.
kick these guys' butts. And it's like, no, you keep lying to me, but okay, fine, but I'll do. It's great. It's so funny. And then they depart, and I love, dude, just the confidence of that woman just saying, "I'm gonna marry that man." Because you're absolutely
Yeah.
right. Well, how are you gonna find it? Um, Along with that, like, because what happened, I think it's gonna be a notable thing. Because I don't. The sad thing to think about is like, will the shogunate still go? Because at this time, like, I don't know, unless the 13 Assassins helped them to get a better shogun, I don't know, man. I don't know. Um,
Probably
but
not.
I would like to think it doesn't because I do think this is purposely like a very a, s- a positive note to end on, like on purpose.
Right.
Um, all very much like the sunflower that we've been hunting. Um, it's very flowery in the end, like where it doesn't even make sense that these characters survived, but you accept it, you take it,
E
and it's great.
especially because this show doesn't necessarily always give you a happy ending. Like,
Mhm.
take, for instance, the episode with the pickpocket
Oh
where,
yeah,
he pickpockets Fu, and then they start going after, um, uh, he steals from like a mafioso type situation
Yakuza, yeah.
and gets hunted down by them, all that type of stuff. The police also want this guy, and he gets cornered in that house. And he takes Fu hostage, not knowing what to do. And then Fu just helps him because she has a beautiful heart. And then,
Yeah, because she likes his mom.
yeah, and I think they might have kind of a thing too. But so they end up holed up in there, and they get invaded by mafiosos, and they get invaded by police and all this stuff. And he's like, remember me? And she's like, you remember me too? He's about to get away, and then he just gets taken out by a cop, by like a
Yep.
random cop.
Yep, yep, yep.
And he just like dies dirty in the street, dude. And that's the way that episode ends. Like that episode just ends.
Well,
Like
it
that's
doesn't
the
end
end.
just because she goes to visit the
It
mom.
doesn't just end. Right,
Okay,
right.
it's like she goes to visit the mom.
There's stuff
I
with the
think that
mom.
makes it even sadder because literally
But
the mom's just like, he died, didn't he? He was doing some questionable things and it caught up to him. And Fu can't bring herself to like say anything because it starts out with her lying. She does start out
yeah,
lying.
that's
But
her boyfriend.
right. But
Yeah.
then the mom's like, no nonsense here, of course, and is like, where is he? What's going on? Makes that accusation, and then she's left speechless. And though it is a joke diary that we read one episode, I do think some parts of it are legitimate because I do think
Oh
it's
yeah.
100% true that she wants to go, like she's still trying to find she's looking for a way to complete her journey, right? She's trying to make herself stronger, be the stronger person. This is literally her first, as she puts it, her first journey out into the world. Um, I love to think in my head canon that one of the first things she does is goes back to visit that woman, to have the full conversation because she's absolutely
Oh
warranted because everything the mom said is true, and
yeah.
that's the unfortunate thing. But the other part of that is that's not all there is to your son. Like that he was doing this for the most justifiable of reasons. And I know
Right.
we know the whole thing of like the road to hell is paved with good intentions, and it caught up to him and it sucks. But he she deserves to know both sides of that, and she's kind of left with just the one, which it's terrible. The other part, like don't want to think about too hard because like she was already really sick. I would love to think she does make it till hear Fu and hear the
Mm-mm.
last bit, but I don't know, man. I don't know, but we don't know. Like, cause also time passing is
She's
very.
dead, dude.
We don't know, man. We don't know.
She's
Um,
dead.
I mean, to be fair, she
The
wasn't even
next week. No, I don't know.
because after what happened, when you think about it, she's not even getting the like the lower tier medicine that she was getting from her son anymore because
That's
no one makes
right.
payments. So I don't know.
Damn, that's messed up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
that's right.
it's the
Because
thing,
he had to steal because the medicine, the good medicine, was too expensive.
right? And even then, he still
Yeah.
wasn't getting the like the higher tier stuff. It's just like, oh man. And then I
Yeah.
would assume that all stops, but
But see, like with that, with having, and because that's not the only one, like there's
mhm.
so many stories that end off not with a happy ending. Like, look, the one with Sarah that you brought up earlier,
Yeah,
like where
she's like, I know my son's been
she
long
ends up
dead.
being, of course she was an assassin the whole
Yeah.
time, a blind assassin. Of course she wasn't just a blind musician, right?
Mhm.
She's a plant,
Yeah.
and she's working these fools, she's working them.
Hmm.
And yeah, that ends in a sad way too, because
It does.
honestly, like she had both of them like dead to rights. She was a better fighter than both
100%.
of them,
100%.
like easy. And she just let Mugen win, man. She just straight
Because she
up let
kind
him
of
win.
fancy to him, man. Yeah, she liked him.
Yeah, yeah. I love when they're in the hot spring,
Mm.
and she's asking food like, what does
What
Mugen
does
look
Mugen look
like?
like? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And then you get because I feel like Fu loves like each one of them like a little bit, but like doesn't know what kind of love
I think she
type
loves them like
situation.
brothers, and I think so. I
Yeah.
don't. So
And
I
I
think
think
she's
that's what it
figuring it
ends
out.
up
Right.
landing on. But
Because
there's like hints of confusion as you're going through it as well. And like that instance being one of them,
right.
where they're having that conversation, she like blushes a little bit and she's like, oh, like he's stupid though. He's stupid and he's ugly.
Mhm.
And then she like thinks about it and she's like, well, I mean, that type of stuff.
But
But
like, there's that one episode that also falls into what you're saying here that ends sadly, where they meet a man whose whole village was taken out by a sickness.
right.
And he's kind of put on the
Yes.
spot with that. But he literally says to Fu, because I think this is the episode where she fully realizes, oh, I like these guys. Because he
Oh,
literally points
Kuro.
at, yeah, Okura.
Yeah. Oh,
Because
this is
she,
another time that they break up and all go in a separate
right,
direction, right?
right.
Yeah,
Literally,
pretty sure.
the people that are hunting Sakura, um, accidentally go after Mugen,
Right.
and stuff like that. But Fu literally asks, "Can you go? Can I go on the journey with you?"
Mhm.
And then he responds to that before even talking about himself, like what he's going through, what's going to happen, because he's right, he's being hunted pretty drastically. He does explain like the people you're journeying with, though they might bring out frustration and whatnot, there's a bond there. And she doesn't even question it. She doesn't fight it. She doesn't. They don't take a moment of like levity to be like, "But I hate them. They're mean." She just is looking right at him straight in the eye and just having a moment of realization of like, and it like wafts over her. And then when you do
Oh,
get them
yeah.
all back together, like it does it just because she has the realization doesn't mean it's spreading to everyone.
Right, right.
It doesn't happen, but it does help when you have this one piece of their puzzle that is now like more malleable to like fit in with them, to like just be
Right.
with them, understand how they are, and it kind of spreads. And I would say it kind of does, at least I don't know who it actually is first. I think Mugen just doesn't show as much, but it does seem like it does happen with Jin first, and then with Mugen. And of
Yeah.
course, when we get there in the end, they are just Jin's out here being like, "Y'all are my first real friends." Mugen never outright says anything really not. He got me like the one like the watery eye moment outside of those opening credits was the moment because I was sure Mugen was going to die. For the record, I was like, he's done. That's why, in my mind, I thought that's why I don't remember anything with Mugen. He's gone. Um, so when you get to the moment
That's
where,
awesome that you thought that for a little bit.
yeah, when Mugen, he's like, I'll put my sword away. You gotta let Fu go. It's the only selfless thing you see Mugen do, really. And he has to do it like a badass. He throws the sword
Of
and it cuts the
course he
throats
does.
down. Have you seen the clip? And maybe you were watching wrestling at the time, but there's a point where Brock cuts a promo on Roman, throws the microphone, and Roman just catches it
And he just
effortlessly.
catches it.
Yeah, and then he
Yes.
winks back at
Yes.
him. That's the
Like
vibe.
aura times one
Yeah, I was
million.
like, that's
Yeah.
the vibe
Yeah.
right there. Like,
Yeah, bro. Bro, he throws his sword to like cut the ropes like that, and then he has to fight without a sword for
yep,
the majority of that fight. Like he
yep.
fucked himself.
Yeah,
But it looks so cool, so worth it.
it did.
So worth it.
And we got to see
Especially
his
because he
ace in
ended
the
up living.
hole. Yeah. Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
that too. But literally, he had that extra knife that none of us knew he had.
Right, right, right.
And then, like, of course, though he hits him with, and I literally said it out loud because I watched this part this morning. He hit him with a Mexican destroyer because he.
That's amazing.
And
That's
as the
amazing.
guy tries to roll back
He
up
did.
from, if you watch wrestling, go look. If you don't watch wrestling, go look up what a Mexican destroyer is. Because he hits him with it, and then he tries to roll back up. And as that's happening, the struggle happens to where
He
I don't know what
pulls
you
the
call it. It's not a
chain.
scythe, but like it's a chain with. Is that a kunai? Am I making that up?
No, kunai is like a straight blade that you throw.
Oh, and then there's a thing that's called a kunai with chain.
Yeah.
I would have that
You'll
one.
get some kunai probably later tonight. That sounds sexual.
It
I
does.
realize now
It
that
really
that sounds
does. It really
sexual,
does.
but
But he's talking
I'm
about
talking
ghosts.
about playing Ghost,
Talking about
baby.
playing ghosts.
Ghost.
But literally, it comes back and it just it decapitates the guy. And
Yeah,
the
man.
whole time, so I
Sick.
will say, in that moment, I did forget. From the moment where I say the words, "He hit a Mexican destroyer," I completely forgot that there's a guy in the wheelchair. And I knew up until that moment. Granted, I have no idea how he got to where they are on his wheelchair. But he's there, and he does the Bloodborne thing of this town's finished, and he just shoots them through the
Yeah.
stomach. God, because there's people in wheelchairs in Bloodborne that are just waiting for you to walk by, and don't trust
Yeah,
them.
man.
Don't
Yeah,
trust
that's why you just smack anybody you see in a wheelchair in
them.
that game.
If you have reason to suspect, yeah.
Yeah,
But yeah, dude, I
all of them.
the action because we didn't really talk about it. The animation is of course great, but like the action I think is of course where the animation really shines, and like it just really makes Mugen and Jin just look amazing. Because
Looked
literally, even
really
when
good.
you're out of the fight and they're just cutting an apple into pieces on Fu's head, it's incredible. It's really cool. It
Oh,
reminds
dude,
me
yeah,
of
they both go at the same time and
same
cut it.
time.
Yeah,
And they're like hung
yeah,
over at
it's
that
awesome.
point too. They're not 100%.
Yeah,
And they make money. They should have honestly done that trick more. Um, but it reminds
yeah,
me
dude,
because like
because
people
they're
don't
broke the whole time.
whole time,
The whole time
whole
they're
time.
broke.
That's the
Yeah,
motivation for a lot of episodes.
that's
Broken hungry.
very similar to Bebop as well.
Right. I was
Actually,
just about
yeah.
to say, what are we having for dinners tonight? Bell peppers and beef, but no, there's no beef in there. Yeah. So wouldn't you just call it bell pepper? No, I'd still call it bell pepper, and it's a whole thing. Um, but on top of that, with the more bebop comparisons, a lot of people don't talk necessarily about the action in like Cowboy Bebop, where it's hand to hand, right? Of course, there's
Yeah.
spaceship fights, there's gunfights, but the hand to hand combat, the martial arts, again, Watanabe is so good with it. Even when you look at
The choreography behind it, right?
right, right.
Yeah,
And then even
it's
when you look at
beautiful.
Lazarus, it's also very good. It's also very, very good.
It's
Uh,
very good
yeah.
in Lazarus.
And I will
Yeah.
also say, granted, not as much in the martial arts, because Dandy from Space Dandy is more comedic, but he has a space blaster. Watch Space Dandy. Um, it is.
Hey,
It's still the because he just knows what he's doing. And Carol and Tuesday is the show is called Carol and Tuesday. At least from the season one that I watched, and it wouldn't make sense if there wasn't. There's no action because they're just trying to win a singing competition. But yeah, but you know it's the same universe because what do you get? A ton of Woolongs. So there you
oh
go.
yeah,
Yep, yep. Obviously, I don't know. They don't say it in Champloo, but I think the assumption is that it's like the same universe as well, just because everything else is. Because even in
right.
Lazarus, still Woolongs.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Dandy,
Oh,
Woolongs, and there's an episode of Space Dandy where they find the fridge from that one episode of Cowboy Bebop.
really?
Yes,
Oh, that's like the worst thing you can find
it's
from that
terrible.
show. That's the
it's
worst thing.
it's
Yeah.
great though. It's
I
awesome.
have a distinct fear of that fridge.
And like I because I remember the name of the episode, and I
I
that's
dream
when I
about it.
learned that like I think every episode has like a musical correlation because that episode's called Toys in the Attic, which
Right.
is I believe Aerosmith. I want to
Oh,
say.
what was the name of the movie?
Oh, Knocking on Heaven's Door. I
Right.
want to say
Yeah.
it's Knocking on Heaven's Door. In America,
That
it's
feels
just the
right.
Cowboy Bebop movie. But if you look up the Japanese title, I'm pretty sure it says Knocking on Heaven's Door. And that
Right.
reminds me because
Yeah.
we were drunk. Justin hasn't seen the Bebop movie.
Oh, that's
And I
right.
own it, bro. I don't
Whoa.
know, man. I don't
Whoa.
know. It's so good.
You unlocked a not core memory, dude. That's
But we
crazy.
can
Because
create a
I'm
new
gonna
core
forget
memory.
by next week. But
It's,
like, we have to get him on that.
we
Yeah,
do, because
it's
honestly, there's an
that's a
excuse to
good
rewatch it.
movie.
It's a very good
It's
movie.
a very good movie.
It's a very good movie. But back to
Yeah,
Samurai Champloo.
just a
It's a
side
very good
story,
show.
but still.
100%. But I think because
But
when I
yeah,
rewatched Bebop, no, I tried and he brought me back. So when I watched Bebop, I watched the whole show and then I rewatched the movie after. And I do think there is like it adds a heart to the movie when you do that.
mm,
Because like obviously, yes, if you see Spike on the screen, it's not after the final episode, but
right.
it gives you an extra adventure with this crew. It is like a remembrance of like what they had, what they were doing. And it just there's an extra like level of heart to that. And I do wish like it would have been cool if granted Bebop's the only one, but Samurai Champloo, it would have been cool to get a movie. Obviously, I would love if it had taken place afterwards and it's them reuniting. Most
Yeah.
likely, it would have been a side episode, just like the Bebop movie. Um, but honestly, like I would have taken that too, because again, the emphasis here, it's not about where the story goes.
hmm
It is literally because when you get to the last episode, the thought you may have, especially the people who don't like the ending, you don't realize you're in the good old days until they're no longer the ones you're living in. Like you're past that time. Like I
hmm
didn't want this show to end. Even when Fu was annoying me, which is only like a 6 episode stretch. She was Princess Peach for so long. And to be fair, she does keep getting taken. Like I don't know how many brothels she became like a sex worker at,
It's fucking
but
terrible, man. It's so bad.
dude, and like literally it's like they're just terrible to women in the because literally the whole jar setup of like, oh no, you knocked over my jar. I know how you can pay me back for.
Oh yeah, yeah,
It's like,
dude,
okay,
it's so bad.
it's
It's
so bad.
so bad.
It's so bad.
But it was also probably like to an at least an extent like a reality back then, which is
100%,
even sadder.
probably so. Yeah,
That's
for
even
sure.
worse for
Um,
sure.
but I do. The journey is not. So the journey is the destination because
Yeah, for
it's
sure,
about
man.
watching it. And you do. I do think to fully get the full picture and fully appreciate it, you do need to watch the whole thing. So I do wonder, like, because I don't know. Well, no, watching it as a weekly series would be fine. It's not like I watched all this in necessarily one sitting. I was gonna say that would spread it out, but like you do need to have the commitment, I think, to really get the most out of this. And this sounds like this is what you should think for every show. And to be fair, yeah, if you start a show and you want to know if it's good, watch the whole thing.
Yeah,
But this is
yeah.
just really, especially with Watanabe in general, the emphasis is just so much on like was when you get the last episode of Cowboy Bebop, dude, you're like you're remembering the good times of Spike and Faye. Like you remember that goofy mushroom episode where everyone got high as shit. Like you're
Yeah.
like, oh my god, I miss these good old days. And then
Which
when you get,
I love that they set a field of weed on fire in this
yep,
one and then everybody
yep, a
gets
field
high.
of weed, and also there is a mushroom episode in here as well. That not shroom related, but there
That's
is a
right. Yeah.
mushroom
They do
in
eat
Shroom.
mushrooms though.
Yep,
Yeah.
and they get it's literally the
They
zombie
get
episode.
sick. Yeah.
Um, but dude, like because the comedy, the the emotionality of when it does get serious, and just like the quirkiness of the way Watanabe tells his stories, it's all present here. I would definitely say Bebop and Shampoo like at the top. Like I think this is like to relate this to our Del Toro movie series, like Pan's Labyrinth and Shape of Water. You know, like it's they're just both so good, but also so
Yeah.
different. Also,
Mhm.
those are two different cultures in those movies as well. But like talking
Right.
about these,
Yeah.
um, I do. After talking about it so much, I do. I feel like I need to rewatch Space Dandy just to really see the standing there. But I
Oh, I thought you
also
were gonna say I need to rewatch Champloo.
no,
After
no, no,
talking
no,
about
no,
it
no.
so much, I gotta rewatch this thing, man.
Because I do feel like there's a sadness to that that I want to sit with and like let it marinate and just heal from. Because it's sad when you get to the end.
Yeah, man, it is. It is.
It's rough.
I got frustrated the first time I watched it. I'm pretty
Mm.
sure there was a tear or two,
Mm.
like that kind of frustrated. Like they shouldn't go away from each other. And but again, yeah, like I get it now. Man, I had so much fun like on this watch
Yep.
specifically. And I think because I just understand a lot more. I guess there's like references to think like it shows a lot about weed culture and stuff for them
Mhm.
to like there's about to be like a whole ass war and everybody just becomes friends at the end of
Yeah,
that
yeah, yeah, yeah.
episode. Like I love the graffiti episode. I
That was really
love
good.
the tagging episode so much.
It's
It's
the
one of my
episode Mugen
favorites.
learned how to read.
It's when Mugen learned how to read and it stays canon throughout the rest of the story
Yep,
too.
yep, yep.
And like but like it's also just like a real confidence moment for
Mm.
him as well because like a
Yeah,
lot of his confidence comes off like more machismo than actual confidence.
right.
Like yeah, I'm putting up a front of being a tough guy even though he is a tough ass guy.
He
That's a
is.
bad motherfucker.
But I
But
love that it took a really tough guy teacher to get him to
yes,
sit down and
dude,
teach
and
him
that
this.
like and as someone as who teaches for a living,
Yeah.
like I really appreciate him finding the right learning style for Mugen
Right.
because it is such a unique one.
For sure. For sure.
But I love that episode so much and just how it shows how important like again with like the hip hop overlay and the samurai Japan just underlining like how important it is in both of those cultures.
Yeah.
Because one of my favorite things when I went to Japan was the street art that's just all over the place. Like people go fucking crazy and it's like more allowed over there. It's not so much like vandalism and more like a art thing
Mm.
within their culture, at least in Okinawa where I was. Cause you walk along the seawall which you get to see a couple seawalls in here. They end up on a couple of beaches, and it just brought back a lot of memories. But you walk along the seawall, which is a big stone wall on the on the sea with
Right.
like a sidewalk and stuff. and the whole thing is just tagged up, man. And it's not like just bullshit somebody coming and like writing their name, really. Like
Mhm.
it's like works of art on
That's
this
awesome.
thing, and sometimes they do like murals and stuff like this. And I was there for 3 years, and like that wall that they had, like people would leave up, like if somebody put up a new piece, they would leave it there for so long, and then once there's like no new space, then they would cover that one thing and put
Mm.
up a new piece over it and stuff like that. But people were like real respectable with it. Once in a while you run into somebody's like actually doing it, but you go and you walk along that same wall and it was like, oh, there's something new, and everybody's admiring it and stuff like that. Like I love that that was worked into an episode here.
Yeah.
And there's like a lot of instances of just little things like this that show the influence that things had on either hip hop or the Japanese lifestyle, or both of them, like that.
Yeah, or art in
So
general. There's a whole because literally the episode where we meet
yeah.
Hanzo the Saw, we learn about the what happened with the artist who was trying to go one space, didn't make it there, became a famous artist in another area, and stuff like that. And it's really cool when you get stuff like that, and like the obviously the whole hip hop thing, very interesting. I would love to just hear some music recommendations from Watanabe because I feel like because obviously there hip hop is here. There's obviously so much jazz in Cowboy Bebop. Like it's just
Do
I
you
feel
ever
like the guy has a variety.
listen to New Jobbies?
No,
New Jobbies did a lot of the music for Samurai Champloo.
okay.
Um, Most notably the intro.
Mm.
And he he's like, dude's a legend. He's like a
Yeah.
legend. Like dude is crazy. He's insane. You should look up his music.
Yeah.
Absolutely. He passed away a couple of years ago,
Oh. I was gonna
and
say
there
the
was a
the full
lot of
soundtrack
like
is on Spotify.
Samurai Champloo stuff that went up because of it.
I bet.
But yeah, you probably hear a couple of songs and be like, "Oh, I know this." But
Maybe.
yeah,
I
you
don't know.
should everybody look up New Jobbies.
Everybody
R.I.P.
look him up. R.I.P.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, this Samurai Champloo. I'm really glad we put this last. Obviously, because it takes longer to watch a show
We needed
than a
the most
movie,
time.
but
Right.
also just like I feel
Yeah.
like in this because literally the time period they're even talking about here, it kind of touches on both periods we got from the both movies we just watched.
Right.
One they literally mentioned the Warring States period and us
Yeah.
transitioning to a time where we don't need samurai anymore. And like I will say, there's less like worlds build. Oh no, actually no, I'm reversing that. So there is more world activity and world building in this where we're learning about like the impacts of things on Japan and Japan culture, Japanese culture, as well as like relations with America, stuff like that. Whereas like something in Bebop, it's just it's them. So
Yeah.
it is just
Because I
another.
mean, they're in space. There's a lot of instances where they don't have anything around them because they're in space. You
Right,
know.
right, right,
So
right. And
yeah,
then you get the episode where they meet Ed on Earth, and it's a whole thing. And they see their first
yeah.
VCR. Spike's just kicking it. No, it's great. Um, Obviously, if you haven't guessed, go watch Bebop as well. Honestly, it just, dude, Watanabe Wednesdays. Maybe we'll think. But Ernest, just like this show taught us, sometimes you just got to let things end. So give me some final thoughts on Samurai Champloo, man.
No, I have a question. Who's your favorite?
Spike. I'm just kidding. It's Jet. Oh, nobody
Yeah,
from this show. I'm
you
kidding.
can't pick one out of the
Just
three.
kidding. So out, it's probably Mugen. It is probably Mugen.
It's probably Mugen.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's probably
Yeah,
Mugen.
Mugen was definitely my favorite for a long time when I was a kid, and I
Yeah,
think I'm kind of Jin leaning right now. I'm
yeah.
not sure,
So that
but
makes sense because Ernest. Actually, no.
is it
Opposite.
the hair?
No, no, no. Ernest, you're our Mugen. You're our wild man. You're the one who's out here. I wear glasses. I'm the Jin, and then Justin. There's only one left. I thought about that. I'm really glad because
Because when
I didn't
he
write it
eats, he
down.
gets really bloated.
Oh, 100%. He just holds it in his mustache, just like Finn does. But did you have any other questions? I'm sorry.
No, no, that was the last one,
So
man.
it's funny you say that, because like when I did my rewatch of Cowboy Bebop, a
Mm.
couple years ago, Spike was my favorite forever. Spike was my guy. But
Yeah.
like I'd only watched Bebop as a child, a teenager, as you will. But then I did my rewatch of Cowboy Bebop, and Jet's my dude now. Jet's my man. Because they're
And because
all
he's
just
kind
a
of
bunch
like,
of rabid cats in his spaceship.
he's more grounded by
100%.
far than anyone
100%.
else.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
And like
yeah.
has to be the best cop ever. He was a detective, and I love detective stories as well. But yeah, dude, and like I don't when you compare them all together, I do think overall I would just say that I just love the group as a whole because I do think they
Mm.
complete each other. Because you're right,
Yeah,
Jin's the opposite of Mugen, Mugen's the opposite of Jin, and
like a
Fu,
three-way yin yang.
right, and then but like
Yeah,
Fu's so different from both of them, but it
yeah.
makes sense to tie them together to make a whole unit. They're a comp. They're a viable comp.
They're calm.
And
Yeah, yeah, totally.
but I do think Mugen's probably my favorite, but again I love Jin and Fu with that. So honestly, three-way tie for me. I don't think I 100% pick
But
one,
Mugen a little bit.
but
Okay, I
Mugen a
got
little bit because he has the
you. Yeah.
best fights.
But no, just I just love this show.
Yeah.
That's all, man. I
That's
just
your
love this
closing
show a
thought
lot. I'm gonna love
after
it
all
forever.
that.
More than anything, I have to ask you at okay, one last
Go
question.
for it. No, yeah.
At what points in the game do you put it on Watanabe mode?
I was gonna say I'm immediately tested out at the beginning.
Are you
We'll
at the
see.
beginning?
So here's the thing, and I guess this is just. I mean, I've said a lot of jokes about Ghost of Tsushima. I don't think that music's very memorable. So like, I don't see it necessarily being a thing. Though I know for a fact, because they've released a lot of gameplay footage. You can. I don't know what that instrument's called. Like the blind musician's playing. It's not a guitar.
Right, right,
It looks like a
right.
guitar,
Yeah,
but it's not a guitar.
yeah.
You also see it in Demon Slayer when Zenitsu
Pretty
plays
sure it's a
it.
ukulele. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh
I
no. Oh dear. Um,
think
but
that's an
uh
oboe.
but you can play that in Ghost. And you can do that. And that I'm like, oh man, that we'll see what that all feels like. I'm gonna try these out pretty quickly. I
Mm,
think. I do think I feel like for what they're gonna offer, I imagine the Watanabe mode is one you need to sit with for a little bit to let the music change or whatnot. If
right.
it's one track, automatic failure. It's automatic failure.
I would hope that like the whole thing would be scored or something. You know?
Right, and I'm wondering like, to be fair, it's PS5 exclusive. It's not on PS4. So like the technology's there, and obviously, dude, this is a
Right.
PlayStation first party. Your money should be there to make this a thing. It should be 100%. Like if I can have
Fully
a
Watanabe
right
scored.
full
Yeah.
Watanabe, full W.
Yeah. Let's
Um,
do it.
but the thing to know about that is like you would have to play the whole thing like that to know.
That's also a lot
It
to
is.
score a whole
It
game.
is.
Yeah.
But like, dude,
Yeah.
like, I mean, he didn't try with Lazarus, so he's free. No, I'm just in terms of the music
I
with
liked
Lazarus, it just
Lazarus.
wasn't as much as his other series. But yeah, as part of my
Sure.
closing
Same.
thoughts, also I love Samurai Champloo. I like it even more this time around because I've actually watched all of it. But Mugen, Jin, Fu, a trio that is always going to be close to my heart, and in my head canon, they do run into each other again in the future. And I would love to think like even when they have some of them have their own wives, husbands, some of them have kids, even they get to know each other. And I like to think that they are so intertwined whether it's
Orgies.
them or their kids, their grandkids, their lineages. I like to think they're staying near and always running into each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, it just seems like the because like you said, fate always brought them together in the first place.
I
Why would
said
it?
orgies, and then you started being like
Oh, I
their
didn't hear
kids, their
orgies.
grandkids, and I was like, oh
No,
my
I didn't hear you
goodness.
say orgies. Oh man, I'm glad you brought that up. I did not hear you say the orgies.
It was just the timing is all.
Yeah, yeah, you
But
got me. You got me. That'll be
yeah,
the
I
clip.
thought about just moving past it, but I felt like we should
You
talk.
should.
So
No, you should. You did the right thing.
okay.
Um, but no, I do think, in my mind, I like to think that they stay connected. Maybe not on
Yeah.
purpose, but
Because
like,
that's the happiest outcome, you
right.
know?
And
But
he has to have one.
regardless, we have a happy outcome with everybody leaving on good terms and
Right.
stuff like that.
Right.
So
Right.
I mean,
with smiles
I'm
on their faces.
I'm more happy with it now than I've ever been.
Yeah,
So
there's a piece to it, and I think that conveys itself very well. But thank you all for tuning in for our Way of the Samurai series. This has been fun. We're going to do more stuff like this in the future. We are going to go back to our single episodes for the weekly routine for a little bit till we have something else to work on. Um, but be on the lookout for on the gaming side of things our Ghost of Yote review, and we appreciate any likes, follows, shares, comments on any of our socials. And in regards to where those socials are, where you can find us, Ernest, where is that at?
yeah, hook it up, fool. And if you'd like to stay up to date with the show, you can find us out here on all these social medias, baby. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, X, and YouTube. And if you'd like to reach us directly, you can find us at lifeandstorytelling@gmail.com. We appreciate any and all feedback, and we fucking love
We love you. We appreciate you. If you have anime Rex you would love to see us, or just show Rex in general, we would like to hear them out. But
it.
thank
Only
you
good
all for
ones.
tuning in. Yeah. But thank you all for tuning in, hanging out, and have a great rest of your week.